Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. In developing news tonight, more than 30 dead whales have been discovered on a remote beach on the east coast. For more, we're joined by reporter Ruby Cairns. Ruby, what information have we been given by wildlife authorities so far?
Kim, we know 34 pilot whales are beached towards the southern end of Bryans Beach on the Freycinet Peninsula. A wildlife veterinarian from the Department of Natural Resources and Environment was on scene today, sampling and measuring the carcasses.
The fact that these guys died pretty quickly is saying that maybe they were sick in the first place, and that could definitely be related to human influence on our oceans.
The department says it's not yet known how they became stranded, but it's not uncommon. The public has been warned to keep their distance from the area. Kim.
Okay, thank you very much there, Ruby. Well, the state's Children's Commissioner is slamming changes to the out-of-home care system as not upholding the rights of children. She's released a new report highlighting issues in case management, calling for an evidence-based model.
A damning report card for a system designed to protect the vulnerable.
It is particularly heartbreaking to hear from children who feel they have been so let down by the systems that are in place to look after them.
Tasmania's Children's Commissioner has handed down her self-motioned investigation into the child safety system, slamming the shift from individual caseworkers to a team-based approach for low-risk children.
Resoundingly, children either were not informed about the change or were not provided with an opportunity to have a say about the change.
Finding the substantial move did not uphold the rights of children and young people in care, raising concerns they did not feel safe, didn't receive health care when needed, and were not treated respectfully.
There are aspects of this model that were brought about as a matter of necessity at a time where we had very low staffing numbers.
Ms McLean found the new model reduced the relationship between workers and children, pushing some to breaking point.
Staffing issues were actually amplified by the change to case management.
The state government concedes there is work to do and a more permanent solution to staffing woes is desperately needed.
Ensure that every child has care and planning that meets their individual needs.
The Commissioner is calling on an entirely new model, wanting children to be a part of the solution.
We have created a situation where children and young people in care have felt disempowered, and we need to now step back from that.
Our most vulnerable in desperate need. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
The government has received the final report into allegations of race fixing and poor animal welfare in the state's harness racing industry. Reviewer Ray Murray says the process has taken longer than expected due to the availability of witnesses, volume of information received and the need for procedural fairness. Racing Minister Felix Ellis has not given a timeline for the report's public release. Almost a year since the LGH helipad was deemed unusable, construction is beginning on its replacement. But it will still be another 7 months before patients in need of urgent care can be airlifted directly to the hospital again.
A rescue chopper hasn't touched down at the LGH helipad since the end of last year, when tighter aviation rules forced its closure. No longer considered up to scratch because of its size, location and lighting. The new landing spot, a crucial piece of infrastructure for some of the hospital's most critical patients, is now underway, starting with the crane that will lift the 14-tonne segments onto the car park roof.
People of Launceston will see that crane doing that hard work to build the $15 million helipad.
It should be up and running by July. In the meantime, airlifted patients are touching down at the airport and taken by road the final 15 kilometres to the hospital.
Cutting-edge bespoke helicopter landing site at the LGH is a really important milestone and also capability that allows us to access the care of the LGH in a timely and efficient way.
Meanwhile, the latest health dashboard data shows an increase in emergency presentations, more than 15,000 statewide last month. Despite this, there was a slight improvement to the number of patients seen on time, rising from 57% to 59%.
We're seeing more patients every day. Our elective surgery wait list again is under 8,000. It's gone down more than 35% since 2021. So we're really kicking butt when it comes to delivering better health services faster.
The Health Minister is completely delusional if he thinks these health statistics are good. There are 60,000 Tasmanians on the waiting list to get on the waiting list to have elective surgery.
The long wait for care continues. Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
The Premier has posted a loving tribute following the death of his father. Jeremy Rockcliffe calling the 79-year-old a loyal, caring parent, grandparent and loving husband to Jerry for over 55 years. Rick Rockcliffe, OAM, was one of the state's most well-known poppy farmers and served as a local councillor.
On behalf, I know, all Tasmanians, we pass on our sincere sympathies to Jeremy and the Rockcliffe family.
Rick also erected roadside icon Kenny the Kennebec at Sassafras. A log harvested by Sustainable Timber Tasmania just last week has been a central focus at the Forest Economics Congress. An emotional ceremony was held around the piece of timber, with organisers looking to remind delegates about what's at stake.
Valuable to the environment or part of our economy. Delegates at the Forest Economic Congress have spent 2 days trying to put a dollar value on trees, today coming face to face with their subject matter.
Since we're asking these questions, what is the value of nature? What is the value of a tree? I think it's very powerful to have the product in the room.
6 metres high and weighing more than 7 tonnes, it was only cut down recently. Modern machinery helping place this ancient plant into the heart of the Congress. An emotional and at times tense ceremony, helping bring the passion of both sides to life. First Nations people speaking of their connection to nature.
There were rules and laws to follow, and that rule was never, ever could you kill the tree.
Not every element of the performance today was scripted, so some of it was a surprise to us.
For some, the performance hit close to home.
I see this. Every time I go out, I see the clear fells, I see the logs on the ground.
Stakeholders have now spent 2 days together. Organisers believe the atmosphere has changed.
It was a completely different atmosphere on the ferry, and you could see that the various groups were starting to assimilate, and people were having conversations across divides.
With hopes these conversations sprout long-lasting dialogue.
You know, the log represents a lot of different things to different people.
Letting go of the things that make us different and starting to find some of the common ground.
John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Taswater has shut down concerns about a fish farming and algae-associated toxin in water. Speakers at a Neighbours of Fish Farming event today heard calls to test for BMAA in drinking water, which some scientists say has been linked with motor neuron disease. Taswater's Water and Environmental Services head says there is no internationally accepted test for BMAA, and current advice does not suggest it is a water quality hazard. Launceston is home to Australia's best new brewery, as voted by judges at the Beer and Brewer Awards night. Duquesne selected by industry heavyweights for its great vibes, friendly staff and good pizza.
All of the beers and wines and spirits we have all have cellar doors within easy reach of Launceston, and then our wall of walks over there as well. It really highlights some of the amazing walks you can do all within a day from Launceston.
A former camping store, the Brew Pub opened its doors a little over a year ago. Tickets have gone on sale for the annual celebration of the local wine industry. More than 25 vineyards will feature in next February's Tasmanian Wine Festival, along with a selection of the state's best produce. Organisers spruiking a mix of old favourites and up-and-coming brands.
It's very important for us to bring some new flavours to the wine festival, including some great new vineyards from all around the state.
It's about creating a vibe for the state and making sure that, you know, wine is represented and in a really good, fun space.
Early bird ticket deals are now available. The Statewide ED Training workshop is prepping our rural GPs and nurses with the skills to deal with emergency situations. As the medical landscape changes, the 30 attendees will take their knowledge back to the regions.
They're often the first point of call for communities faced with all kinds of emergencies, and this weekend they'll learn vital skills.
They're already the GPs, the doctors and nurses working out in those areas. But as trained emergency physicians, we go out to help upskill.
Medical staff from across Tasmania will converge for a statewide emergency medicine, education and training program, tackling a range of medical emergencies from mountain bike injuries to drilling bones.
I just woke up last night in the middle of the night. I'm finding it very hard to catch my breath.
Lots of rare and really interesting and stimulating and also challenging skills and procedures for them that they may not, our rural GPs may not see very often.
As emergency departments face increasing pressure, the training encourages hospital avoidance, which could lessen the load on EDs in the long term.
It can impact on patient flow and bed block if we can avoid people coming into hospital, or that initial acute first management before they present will help streamline their admission through the department.
And improve the health outcomes of those who rely on the health service.
Really trying to get improve the care for the people that are living in those rural health areas.
Medical professionals will take to the classroom on Friday and Saturday. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A new Child and Family Learning Centre is one step closer to opening its doors on the northwest coast. The community-driven Blue Gum facility in West Ulverston is designed to provide critical learning and wellbeing services under one roof.
We want people to come as they are. We will meet them wherever they're at, and we want to journey with them. We're all learners.
The centre is on track to fully open to the public in January. The stories of 75,000 convicts who were transported to Tasmania in the 1800s are being told digitally at the Hobart Penitentiary's Convict Memorial Hub. The simulation explains how men, women and children, mainly under the age of 21, came to Van Diemen's Land, allowing visitors to interact.
We don't have anything in the world that's like this. There's nothing which uses a place's archive as richly as this does.
$125,000 from the state government helped the Unshackled project come alive. Anyone can now request a tour. 50 years ago, Pink Floyd's album Dark Side of the Moon was launched at a planetarium. Now it's coming full circle. Inveresque's QV Mag Planetarium inviting fans to sit back and enjoy a 45-minute show and a trip across the Milky Way.
The whole album of Dark Side of the Moon put to planetarium full dome visuals done by the original Pink Floyd album design.
The show has been made possible by a projector upgrade at the planetarium. It launches December 2.
It's been slow going for the Tigers at the SCG today, looking like they'd be going cheaply. That is until a 96-run partnership between Mitch Owen and Jake Doran. Owen smashing 70 from 53 balls.
He's just hit the goat for 6 over mid-off with a lovely skip down the pitch.
An afternoon storm calling things off early. The Tigers 6 for 166 at stumps. The famous Map Guernsey will take to the field in not one but 2 states in 2024. Tasmania's best male and female footballers will play a rematch against Queensland in the Sunshine State in June before UTAS Stadium hosts a combined Sydney and Canberra team on July 20.
Opportunity having 2 state games next year instead of 1, I think it's really proud moment for people to pull on that jumper.
I certainly think in terms of the talent in the state, with players returning back to the state as well, I think it's going to hold us in good stead.
More than 7,000 packed North Hobart Oval this year to see the men record a thrilling win over Queensland. And that's all in sport tonight, Kim.
Good evening. Minimum temperatures were 1 to 3 degrees above average across the state today, mainly due to overnight cloud cover. Today, Hobart 17, Launceston, Devonport and Burnie all 20 degrees. Strahan, the state's top with 24, Smithton 22, Friendly Beaches 21, Bushy Park and Low Head 20, King Island, St Helens and Grove all 18, Flinders Island and Maria Island 17, Liaweni just 12 degrees. The satellite shows low cloud covering eastern Tasmania with a mixture of higher and lower cloud across the north. with clearer skies about the west and southwest. We see lower cloud over Tasmania. Just to our north, a vast area of convective thunderstorm cloud and associated high-level cloud are covering parts of the coast. Tomorrow, the moist easterly flow persisting over Tasmania moves over the southeast coast of New South Wales. Southeast to southwesterly winds 15 to 25 knots, reaching 20 to 30 knots over northern waters. South to southwesterly swells in the west and south, building 1 to 2 metres. Tomorrow, a strong wind warning has been issued between Sandy Cape to St Helens Point. Tomorrow, Hobart, a shower or two, 17. Similar in Cygnet, expecting 18. And in New Norfolk, 19 degrees. Launceston, cloudy, 20. Partly cloudy and 21 in Devonport. Campbelltown can expect a shower or two, 17's the top. Partly cloudy towards the west, Burnie 19, 23 for Strawn, 22 the maximum for Smithton. Showers extending across the east, St Helens 18, Swansea 16, Fingal 15 degrees. Forecast for the first day of summer, showers more frequent about the northeast, mainly fine for western parts. Saturday, isolated showers continue, confined to the east and central plateau. Sunday, isolated showers less likely about the southwest. As we look further north tomorrow, possible storm for Darwin, 34, 29 and mostly sunny in Perth, sunny also in Brisbane, 33. Melbourne can expect a shower or two and they're chasing a top of 19. And currently in Hobart it's cloudy, 14, much the same in Launceston, 16 and in Devonport 17. Kim, enjoy the very last day of spring tomorrow.
I will. Thank you, Kaya. And that is all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for your company. Good night.